You know, paintball has a number of disciplines. There's tournament speedball, where most people are afraid of those players because they wear jerseys and they have really cool guns. There's woods ball, where a lot of rec ball players hang out, like myself. And then there's scenario paintball, which brings together all of the disciplines for one collective adventure. And the way scenarios work, they're not reenactments. They're merely modeled off of things to create objective-based games for players to enjoy throughout an entire day. And the way they work is you use the entire facility. They don't just use one small part of the facility, like one or two fields. They use the entire paintball complex, usually 50, 60, 100 acres. Now, this is taking place at On Target Paintball in Pemberton, New Jersey, and I've visited here a few times, and they have some very creative scenario paintball games. I can't stress enough that this is one of the best places to play scenarios. Their game producer there right now, Josh Gould, has been doing it for a few years. He does things from video games, on movies, you name it. Living Dead is a very popular one now, where they essentially do a zombie paintball game. This is COGS of War. This one's based on Gears of War. And this is actually kind of a light turnout. This is a December day, which many people expect a very cold day. You hear me with this other guy tell the kids to stay back.
I just want to let you know, when I first got into paintball, I watched your tutorial videos. It really helped a lot, man.
I kind of paused there because that was pretty impressive to hear that guy say that. He was actually acknowledging that when he got started, he started on my videos. So here we are in the very beginning of the game. There's a small group of us that are going to make an effort to actually flank the other team. Now, if you've watched some of my paintball videos, you know how I love to get around an entire team and shoot them in the back. And like a smartass, we figured we were going to do the same here. Now, did you notice that small group at the beginning of the video? What was it, about maybe 40 paintballers? This is a line that stretches about a quarter of a mile. Shame on me for not figuring out how are you going to protect your left and right side. In this case, my left side, because we're going to run all the way around this team. And we're going to run to the edge of the field, to the tape line. So we're going to have the other team in front of us, but to the left of us, we're going to have a number of breaks in our line that the other team can punch through. And that inevitably is going to be my undoing in the end. I am actually going to show you a video where DangerMan gets shot. You actually won't see me get shot, but I get shot. And in my attempt to flank the other team, which we were almost about to put a coup d'etat on them, we were flanked, and it was really a thing of beauty. But at this point, let me just kind of go over scenario a little bit more for those of you that just don't know what a scenario is, despite my best efforts to explain it. It's an all-day paintball game. Rather than play for 7 or 10 minutes with 10 or 15 guys at a rec ball game, the game lasts all day long. So if you get shot out, you simply go back to your insertion point and start playing again. Now, you can show up at the beginning of the day and stay all day and play, or you can play for a few hours and leave when you're ready. Now, scenario games usually have 3 major components.
You all right?
An opening battle, your objectives throughout the day, and a closing battle. And, well, I'll add one more. And then afterwards, there's usually an awards ceremony, and they give out a lot of prizes. If you pre-register for scenarios, almost always there's about 20 to 30 minutes of giveaways after the games. They'll give away paintball guns, masks, jerseys, you name it, all kinds of things. Some things they just toss out in the crowd, other things they require your registration coupon for. Now, we are making our move. We're almost around this other team. It's a long walk, and I really think that you're going to find that these 360 videos are so cool for scenario, because here's one of the things about the tips that I give out. When you're playing in a traditional recreational paintball game, you're playing a small enough field where you can, I'm calling for my son there, you can establish a line that the other team generally can't punch through. And even if they do, they can't go anywhere. The fields are so small. They might go to the flag station.
So what are you
hang
going to do,
the flag,
hold
and
the
it's
edge,
done.
not let them flank?
Here, the field is so damn big, and the gameplay is so fluid that even if we establish the lines change drastically to the point where you have to have, and I've said this before, your head on a swivel, in more ways than you could care to know.
We reached the tape.
So these cones, by the way, represent the edge of the field, the tape line.
Hey, Dalton, come on.
So now we've now effectively walked all the way across the field, and we're now going to start moving up into the other team, up the tape line, up the edge of the field to try to actually get behind them.
Right here.
No, you can move up. You can move up, but cover the look out to the right. You out? Yeah.
Now the other thing you should know about scenario games is
I keep wanting to go right.
There's a lot of referees. Usually there's 20 to 30 referees on the field.
Watch your left hip. Watch your left hip.
There's referees who cover, hot spots. There's referees that just look and eventually kind of bird dog play. Bird dog means when a referee stands over you and they kind of give away your position.
And his 12, he sees him. Watch your friendlies to your left.
And here we are talking to each other about, because we are so spread out, we're really in no man's land. We're deep into enemy territory. And by the way, this scenario was rough for this team that we played on. We were playing on the horde side.
I'm behind you. I'm behind you.
The ratio is 3 to 1.
Hey, he's moving on your right. He's moving at your 1.
Doesn't sound like it's all that bad to handle, but wow, the numbers are just nasty. And at this point in the day, I feel like the sun was favoring the other team as well. Sounds like I'm making excuses, doesn't it?
We got about 5 of them.
So at that point, you can look forward, and I'm kind of like jumping here a little bit to kind of save everybody a little bit of the anguish of boredom, so we get into some of the action. You can see now all of the fortifications out in that field beyond this tree line that the other team is able to take from their break point. So where they start, they immediately break out into fortifications. So it's very, very hard to flank. Don't ask me why. We just, it's in my blood. I like to do it. And at this point, there's a guy on the right-hand side of this shot in a spindle. There's a referee off to his right, kind of watching. There's the spindle. So if we shoot him, we're going to at least have a referee on hand to make note of it real quick.
Spindle to my left. Spindle to my left. You can jump in.
So we're getting to the end of this portion of this 360 video. I hope you've learned a few things about scenario. And
thank you.
We're going to get to the point where you get to see a little bit of action. Here's my son communicating with me about where he wants me to identify this player who's shooting. I inevitably, and I don't know how I got him, get one of these guys out. And as he's walking off,
check him, check him, check him.
And
check him in the left,
we're about to just punch through, is when we find out players come up behind us. Now you see that player that I'm looking at in this video right there? I want you to pay attention, especially with the 360. You can swing it around. There's going to be a player who's going to walk up behind him at like a yellow or whitish jersey, blue team. He's going to walk up behind him and courteously let him know, I could have just shot the heck out of you in the back. Would you like to surrender? And of course he says yes. You're going to hear him announce it. My son is going to come up next to me in the bunker eventually here, and he's going to punch up in front of him, not knowing that behind him, our teammate is being bunkered without being shot. Being essentially barrel tagged or courtesy called. And I also don't figure it out.
He's gone.
I don't know half these new players, and I assume the 2 players in the same bunker were on my team. That's not the player who shoots me.
Thank you, Dalton.
But he does shoot my son. So again, the action hasn't taken place yet. I'm just kind of setting it up here. And the reason I'm going through this, the reason I'm even endeavoring to tell you about this, is because it's the importance of understanding the difference between scenario and rec ball. Scenario fields are so huge that these things can take place. You can't take for granted anything in scenario. You have to check down everything. And one of my habits has always been to examine the field before I make a move. You will watch videos of me in scenarios, and you'll see me kind of appear to be standing around, and it can take me 20 seconds or 2 minutes to evaluate where I want to be and how I want to get there. But once I commit, I go. I think my camera slipped in this situation, so you might have to readjust your 360 view. And right now is the point where I'm tangling with this guy out, and I finally get him.
Good squeeze, guys. Good squeeze. You want to get?
Now here's where I encourage my son to make a move. He's going to bust over to that next bunker, and this is where the end of this video comes up. So he's in the bunker. Now look at the player behind my teammate. He's telling him, hey, do you want to call yourself out? Hear him saying, I surrender? And there's a guy who shot me in the back right there. And he shot my son.
Good shot, dude.
And right there.
Good fly.
Okay, so that was an aggressive move. Didn't work out. Got a lot more 360 video from COGS of War. So hopefully you'll keep checking out these videos. Thank you for watching. Be sure to give them the like.